Well, oh well, we'll just wait for the notification to go out, and then we'll be done. Get the stream up as well. Fingers crossed we don't have any like echo like we did last week.
If we do, I'll just do what I did last week and mute.
Oh well. Right, well, we should be live because we got ads playing on the stream. Up the ads, up the finance, and up the franchise.
Oh, we love
Hello
that.
everyone and welcome to FPRL Formula 2 Championship Round 5. This time we are going around Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, one of the newest tracks added to the Formula 1 calendar. And this week I am joined by, once again, I must say, by Madzi88.
Hello, how are you all doing? How are you doing?
Not doing too bad, my friend. And yourself?
Lovely, lovely. Can't complain, just stuffed a pizza down my throat. Got a can of Thatcher's. Should be a good race.
Indeed, we hope so. Much better than the Monaco fiasco we had earlier. But that being said, though, Monaco wasn't too bad.
Nah, it wasn't that bad. There was some interesting points, but you can't complain. It was a great race. Took a while, but good race.
For Monaco standards, it wasn't too bad. And we're on board here currently with Rise, one of 4 new drivers to this championship, and we've had quite a few people drop out.
Yeah, I don't know why. There's got to be some personal reasons, but hopefully these new guys can give us a good show.
I think Saudi Arabia scares them.
I think Jeddah scares a lot of people.
Indeed, I can't really speak too much for experience because I've actually never driven around Saudi Arabia in FPRL, but of course you have.
Yeah, my experience was very interesting. Nice amount of safety cars, track limits scare me throughout the whole track, and very fast-paced track. So it'll be interesting to see how these F2 cars handle the track and how they how the grip feels.
Obviously, Rise struggling with the grip from the off as they've lost a bit of the front wing on their outlap.
It's just what you don't want, do you?
Indeed, not a good for their confidence. We got Hirsch and Junuvane, another newbie for tonight, if I'm correct. Not too sure, but I don't think they've raced a little bit in Formula 2. Anyway, stop waffling, let's get on with how Formula 2 format works. So for those who are new here, stop beside boy in chat saying stop account David's P2, and we'll see if he stays there. But
on the technicality so far.
Yeah, indeed, that did catch me off guard. Anyway, Silverside Boy ruining the intro, but for those of you who are new here to the Formula 2 Championship, it works a little bit more differently to the Formula 1 format. As you can see, we've got a 30-minute qualifying session as opposed to the Q1, Q2 and Q3 for the Formula 1. The results here for the qualifying format, as we see Hirsch starting their lap now, so we'll stay on board with them for now, as I believe that's Junuvane going slow around sector 3 for the yellow flags. But for this full qualifying session, as you can see, if Rise stays where they are, which will be first, David Lawley second, and FPRL Locker, who had a decent showing last time out in Austria, if they stay in the top 3, they will stay like that for our feature race, which will happen later on tonight. But for our sprint race, Locker, David Lawface and Rise will start 8th, 9th and 10th respectively, as the top 10 will be reversed for our sprint race. So, going back to you, Madzi, as I think Hirsch is doing another cooldown lap, or a second warm-up lap it must be said. It plays a bit more strategy as well for our sprint race, whether you take the hit in qualifying to get a good showing in the sprint, or you go for it in the qualifying for our feature race.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, obviously, because with your sprint race, less points are on offer, but you can really use the advantage of the reverse grid But obviously, for most of these drivers, they'll want to win the feature race. You know, the sprint race, there's no pit stops, there's no mandatory stop. You know, one tyre only, straight first last. So they will hopefully. I would guess that, especially on a track around here where, you know, tyre wear is going to be quite harsh. You know, you're on full throttle most of the lap. Fuel load will really play a part in this qualifying session. Drivers will look to be on starting pole on that feature race.
As Harsh getting a bit of snap oversteer around the final corner, about to start their lap, and they have to peel off into the pits. So much like Rise earlier, it's not a good start for Harsh, as Twins, another new member tonight, very out of shape around the hairpin. Currently on another flying lap, along with midfield Maestro just ahead of them, and again another new driver to tonight's Formula 2 Championship. Both of them currently on their outlap. We'll jump on board real quick with midfield Maestro for a purple sector 2. Lifting off the throttle for quite a bit there, going around whatever corner number that is, because there's too many around this track. DRS activated, going towards the final hairpin. Twins right behind them, trying to get a purchase of a slipstream. As long as Maestro doesn't get the rear out of shape. But Twins very close to the wall there, but Maestro going over to the line. And what's our benchmark? A 141.228. So can't really say if that's a good or bad lap time right now, as I think Twins peeled off into the pits.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the other drivers set now. If they think that's a lap to beat, or if they just want to get a lap in without, you know, going over the track limits or just hitting the banker.
They might be doing what Hurst tried to do and set like take their out lap, have a second warm-up lap, and then indeed go for their flying lap. But midfield Maestro's fuel light is having a bit of a distro. So, like, you going back to what you said earlier with the fuel shortages around like the Formula 2 in general, it's going to be even more important to get that lap together.
Yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of drivers early on in the league will complain about their fuel loads, and I think this track will really test drivers' ability to, you know, maintain that fuel in that out lap and that in lap, and make sure they get back to their pit.
Of course, the fuel could also play a major part in our race, as I think midfield Maestro is going for a second push lap.
Silverside boys across the line.
And looks like Silverside Boy has set a decent enough benchmark, 140.088.
Oh, I've already loved this track.
Silverside Boy.
He absolutely loves this track, doesn't he? He's got a...
Midfield Maestro up to the line now, sorry to cut in there, Majesty.
That's alright, don't worry about
that. And a 140.4. So a little bit down on Silverside Boy, but like you were saying, Majesty, he does fair love Jeddah.
Yeah, he does, and what's it? I said a thing I heard earlier in the year. He's got a Jeddah setup that he just uses on every track or something like that. But you know, you couldn't stop talking about it early on, and I think he's been practicing for a very long time for this race in particular.
Respectable lap though for Silverside Boy. One of only two drivers that have actually set a lap. Rise currently on a flying lap, as well as Junivane. Harsh and Twins going back out for another outlap, and Rise with a 108 for the second sector split around insert corner number name here. DRS around the long sweeping left-hander before final hairpin. Fuel light is going again, so it might be their final push lap for now, as Junivane sets a 141.2, and Rise getting a very tight line there around the hairpin. And are they coming into the pits? Yes, they are. So not a good lap for Rise, but must be said though, after their victory in our Tier 1 Championship on Thursday around Singapore, they've got to be in a good bit of confidence for this race.
Yeah, you would think so. You know, a lot of drivers are coming from Singapore. Not too sure about most of the results through those through the tiers, but you know, if you think coming off a good position or good points finish in Singapore will give you a lot of confidence in most tracks you drive on after that.
I suppose on the topic of championships, we should take a minute to talk about our current Formula 2 championships, which sees Brookyman currently in P16 as... I'm not sure, I think I might have lost my train of thought for a minute, because we now have 16 drivers on the grid.
Yeah, I think we've been joined by Nigel Pickle? I'm not too sure.
Oh yeah, Pickle. Has randomly decided he might join up this race. I don't know why, because random is random. Anyway, as for our Formula 2 championship, Brookyman leading the way by 32 points over Silverside Boy, and yeah, Hirsch with a 140.7. Just, I suppose a decent lap, but still a second down on Silverside Boy. And yeah, Silverside Boy. Going back to what we said about the fuel shortage, is pretty much coasting it around the track. But anyway, yeah, so Silverside Boy currently second in our championship, 32 behind Brookyman, and Revengezilla in third place with an 8-point gap back to Tornado, who had a pretty stellar weekend around Silverstone. And a notable standout in our standings, must be said, is FPRL Locker, who picked up, I believe, picked up a third place and a fifth place around Austria, so that's put them 11th in our driver standings. And our Constructors' Championship sees Campos leading the way by 8 points over Carlin, High Tech are in third, Virtuosi are in fourth, and Prema 10 points behind in fifth. So quite a few mini battles in our championships, but can't deny though that it's going to be quite a hectic final few races in this championship, as Hirsch has invalidated their current lap. Everyone in their own mini battle, but Brookyman hoping to sew up this championship as soon as they can.
Yeah, and with it being quite tight, both constructors and drivers, a lot of position changes can happen, depending on one crash, one safety car, one overtake. So a lot of drivers will be really thinking about their overtaking options. Will they lunge it? Will they not? Will they go for it turn one and try and make that decisive move early on, or will they save it later on in the race?
I was just checking out our current laps there. Cross today has invalidated their current flying lap. Revengezilla, as I've mentioned, who is third in the championship, on their current first flying lap, purple sector 1, so they're on a good lap. We'll keep note of Revengezilla rise on third attempt, I think, for a flying lap. 35.92.
Twins is coming on around the final corner now.
Jump to Twins real quick. Again, very, very close to the wall at the final corner. Doing their best Verstappen impersonation of 2021. Up to the line, and it's P5 so far for Twins. Still quite a bit down on Junuvane, and Hirsch a second ahead of Twins. We'll jump back to Revengezilla real quick. With a 107.3 for their second sector. This lap could potentially challenge for so far for a provisional P1, or get them ahead of Midfield Maestro, who currently sits second, yellow flag in sector 3. I think that's just cars looking to get a bit of track position. And Revengezilla is third with that lap. Lost a bit of time there around the final two sectors, but still in touching distance of Midfield Maestro. Rise. Like I said, confidence would be high from Thursday. They are now on the front row currently, as they do a celebratory drift around turn 1.
Yeah, I was on board with him for a bit of that lap, and I don't know if my television lap data was right or wrong, but he had purple sector 2 and was looking very close throughout to the walls and really pushing that car, so strong lap from him in there.
Another yellow flag around sector 2. I think that, again, that's just for track position, as Nigel Piddle, a pretty late entrant to this race, about to start their first flying lap of the session. We'll keep note of that. Locker currently on a good bit of momentum, as I keep reiterating, from Austria, with a 35.8 for sector 1. Also keep note of their lap, as we've got quite a bit of action now on track. Quite a few drivers going for their fast lap, as Rise gets out of the way of what I make that to be a fast moving collateral ads. I don't believe that is. I think it might have actually been Locker going by Rise up to sector 2. And the left and right as Velocity shoots right up to P1 at 139.2.
That's a very strong lap.
Indeed, a very good lap, much better than what we've saw so far, as Locker avoiding all the traffic around the final corner, hoping to get power down as soon as they can to the line. DRS is activated for Locker up to the line, and it's going to be a 140.9 for Locker, so currently 7th so far.
Nigel Piggle has just set a purple sector 2, and what we see is his first outing for us in this F2 campaign.
Indeed, Nigel Piggle hoping to show what he can do in our Formula 2 Championship. Not too sure if he's doing this seriously though, as it might be all a bit of a fun and games for him, as we now have 17 drivers in the lobby. I've just noticed.
Yeah, we are somehow collecting drivers the more we go into this. I wonder if we'll get a full lobby by the end of this qualifying session.
Wouldn't be complaining too much about that, but I believe it might have been Willy Bum, who's currently 16th right now, has just joined the session. So I keep saying quite a few entrants, as Brookyman is, I think, just leaving the pits now for their first lap of this qualifying session, with only 13 minutes left, so Brookyman might only be doing 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah, well, I can't see the time left because there's a constant yellow flag on my time screen.
Yeah, very, very similar to Monza, as we just saw quick glimpse there. Just under 13 minutes to go. But Brookyman, our championship leader, is maybe going for only 1 or 2 push laps here, as our championship rival Silverside Boy is just up the road. Take him out, take him out. Ah, he wouldn't. It's because he was spectating and that's why he didn't do it. Yeah, not really many drivers currently on a lap, as I say that Junivane up to the line and goes second. Little half a second down on cross today, but a good lap for Junivane.
Definitely. A lot of drivers who won't set a time either though. We've got 6 drivers who still haven't got a time in, and I don't know how long we've got left in this session. Love to know.
Indeed, we do have quite a few drivers waiting out in the pit lane, but Brookyman, as I've said, in their out lap.
I believe we've got 12 minutes. Yeah, 12
Shorty just leaving the pits too. Snedden just leaving the pits as well, I believe, and Collateral Ass just going into the pits. But we'll jump over on board with Brookyman for their first flying lap of the session, and what could be their only flying lap of the session. Yellow flags up ahead for cars just leaving the pit lane, so we better stay out of the way of our championship leader. Traffic seems to first, so fair play is what we're all about here.
It's a long track. I know it's quite obviously narrow with the walls, but I don't think you're going to find much traffic with the length of this track.
A very, very fast flowing track as Brookyman riding the curbs there after the first sector complex, and a purple sector 1 as well for our championship leader.
Yeah, it's looking strong, uses as much of the track as you can use. Obviously, I don't know how these
dare use.
don't know how these F2 cars feel around here. And obviously, we all know it's a fast flowing track, but you need that downforce to navigate through that sector 1 with speed.
Indeed, the only thing I can really comment on for Saudi Arabia is driving it in game, and I'm pretty sure in the real life that is an incredibly loud noise, so I do apologise for that. But in terms of just driving the track in general, it is a very, very fun track to drive. As for the racing, if the real open world is anything to go by, it's pretty chaotic, we'll just say the least, so hopefully, and also in some cases not hopefully, they happen for our Formula 2 drivers tonight, as Brook came in a 138.9. Take that to the rest of the grid, they go right up into P1. I think Madsley might have temporary issues with their microphone.
I think my controller trying to do a hard reset. So now I've got to redo
that might explain our pretty loud static.
Yeah, I heard that on the stream. Did not sound nice. Sorry for all you headphone users out there. But
indeed, we apologise for our viewers, as we've got a poll for poll up in chat. As I'm going to take a random guess as to who voted for Silverside Boy.
Or most likely the fraud himself.
Indeed. But Frosty and Brook came in on one vote. We are, as I say, our poll for poll. We are currently streaming this over on our Twitch channel. Formula 2 races every second Sunday, so we'll just get this out of the way now. Our next race will be on the 12th of June. I've got into a bad habit of saying the 14th for some reason. For some reason. Oh my god, I cannot English. For some reason. There we go. And we'll be taking on the streets of Baku, as Hirsch has... I think Hirsch might have crashed it at the end of the hairpin. Yes, I think it is. Hirsch, jump over to Wollybum here. Oh dear, yes. I think Hirsch might have had a bit of oversteer out of the hairpin and has ended up in the barriers.
Can't seem to watch anything because all my controllers being an absolute... Shouldn't be swear, but you can all guess what I want to say.
It's been an absolute nuisance. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I can see it now on ads. His car's facing. He's done a Perez impression.
Well, not good news though for Hirsch. Currently in 11th, so they won't be able to challenge for that reverse grid pole. Lewis Shorty is out on a lap and has also invalidated that lap. Nigel Piddle currently up in their best lap so far, but they do sit in that reverse grid pole, as Ethan in our Twitch chat is requesting for an invite, and Hirsch is saying, top class driving by me. Well, put it like this, Hirsch, you are the first to do something this session, so we'll applaud you for that. As Madsley, now isn't the best time, but I believe Ethan will request an invite to the session, so it looks like we'll have 18 drivers for tonight's sprint and feature race.
Hoping this gamer tag is the same as his Twitch, because I am...
We shall get that cleared up as soon as we can.
I can't seem to click a single button right now, because I'm great struggle.
Yes.
There we go. We're good.
Not a good sign.
No, I'm back. Oh.
Just checking out there. Hopefully we can get Ethan in for this race, as I'm actually going to vote in our poll for poll and say Silverside Boy, because why not? Gamer tag is the same as the Twitch, but no underscore. So thank you for clearing up, Ethan. We'll get you in as soon as we can, as we've got 6 minutes and 40 seconds left, and Piddle, very, very dangerous there, to doing a Mick Schumacher. Apologies, Mick. Snedden currently on a fast lap now in 12th. With 6 minutes left, we're getting quite a bit of action now on track.
Yeah, it's all happening, all unfolding. Ads invalidated.
Off.
They must be coming in.
Currently on an out lap. David Lawface about to start their flying lap. I think, were they riding off the wall there, or was that just my perspective? It looked like David Lawface was actually running against the wall.
We never know. Could be you trying to use all the track, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Indeed, all the track and more. But David Lawface about to start their lap now, as Senior currently Rise is invalidated, Locker has invalidated on their out lap, Piddle has invalidated too. A lot of invalidations, and that that also does touch on your point earlier, Manzi, that track limits here are very, very fine.
Yeah, well, in my experience, in my tier, you know, track limits were a big asking point for a lot of the drivers, and we could see that again. But obviously, these cars, yeah, they are not as quick, but the responsiveness for some people, they might struggle to keep it, and you know, if they're going side by side, we could see a lot of battles of people just pushing too hard.
Indeed, and as we can see as well, we do have Ethan in the session. They've got 5 minutes to somehow adapt to this very, very quick flowing track and get a lap in. So Ethan very much up against it here for the final stages of qualifying, but thankfully they are here to compete. As I've also said, 18 drivers now as opposed to the 15 we started the session with. So the final few stages of this qualifying are going to be hectic. We will try our best to keep up with them as Brookieman currently down on their first flying lap is... Oh, the confidence has been gone for Rise. You can find them really quick, I'm not sure. They've binned it out of the first chicane. As I just saw there, yeah, with Nigel Piddle, Rise is in the wall. So a disaster there for Rise, as they will not have a chance to compete for our sprint race pole, or even better. Same fate as befallen them as it has for Hirsch, who's now currently 14th, potentially going to be 16th after David Lawface has set their lap, and
sorry, I'm fully back now
too.
Everything is fixed.
Go. Yeah, happy. Everything is fine in the world. Thank you very much, technology.
Oh no, just
David
Lawface
though did.
Controller, and apparently
David Lawface though did invalidate their first lap and did go a bit wide out of the end of the first sector, so they'll be down a little bit on time. Who came in
get a flag
on their lap.
Very slow moving Willy Bum.
Indeed, Willy Bum invalidated their first lap, and they've got fuel light on too.
Oh, it's not
so
just on, it is staying on.
Yeah, Willy Bum might be out of fuel, so they've got to come in for a very quick pit stop and get out on track before they can have one more chance. As we have a few more fast flowing cars going past. That will be Lewis Shorty as well, going by Willy Bum, who's currently in 8th. So a good position for our sprint race, as they elect not to use DRS, it seems.
Yeah.
I think they're just doing a secondary warm-up lap, yeah. Lewis Shorty's bailed out on their first lap.
Well, we have 2 minutes left of the session, so it's now or never. Drivers can't make a mistake on their laps now, you know.
It looks like
one
Willy Bum
invalidation.
Willy Bum might be out of time here. They will not get another lap in. So as of right now, they will not improve on 7th. Junuvane in just leaving the pits as well, so they've got to absolutely fly around here to get one more lap in, and Snedden too.
Ethan invalidated his current lap, so he needs to get round quick as he can without being in traffic.
Ethan currently in 18th as they joined late on, so now or never for pretty much everyone right now who is out on track. Brookieman further extends their gap at the top, a 138.5. He has took it to the grid and has said bring it on.
Yeah, come and beat. Oh, and Ethan's invalidated on turn 1, turn 2. Oh, that's hard to see.
Ethan.
How long have we got left?
I don't think we've got enough time. We've got 1 minute and 14 seconds. I think Ethan might just miss out.
That's harsh.
Disaster.
As well. He could have put himself somewhere, but hopefully he can show us what he's got in the sprint and feature race.
Indeed, a lot of work to do for Ethan, but never say never in FPRL. As Lewis Shorty currently on their lap as well, and Willy Bum finally makes their way back into the pits.
Well,
so that will be their qualifying done.
Our pole for pole winner so far looks like to be Silverside Boy, but
Well, Silverside boy, you better strap a rocket to that car.
I hope a lot of people didn't put money on that.
I will not comment on.
And he hasn't validated,
Marcy's,
so he is
Marcy's statement.
not going to improve on that time. So I'm sorry for all of you who voted for Silverside boy, but
And thankfully, voting in our poll for poll doesn't cost you anything, so I've escaped one there.
I think we
But
should make it a
Silverside
bet
boy.
area. We should start getting some money involved in that. That would really spice up the league.
Indeed. We all gather round and place your bets.
Oh, how is he still in? Whoa!
So I'm hoping your
Just clipped the
Clatter lads
inside
minus
wall.
a front wine as Crostedy! Crostedy's
Oh!
jumped to the top! They have
That's a
beat
great
Rookie
time.
Man! An absolute standout performance for Crostedy! A 135.5, beating out Rookie Man by 700ths of a second!
That's come out
Where
of
has that
nowhere.
lap come from?
Oh, it's all
Stella
happening.
lap.
We've got drivers losing wings. Everyone's out
Indeed,
of
a stellar
fuel.
lap as Ethan has binned it on the start-finish straight, I believe. So, kind of sums up their qualifying. Brookie Men will not improve on their current lap as Collateral adds
Snedden
minus a front wing
can
cannot
improve.
improve. Junuvane can improve as well. Silverside Boy is out. Lewis Shorty's invalidate. In fact, the only one I can really see challenging here is Junuvane.
Snedden, if he can
Well-
really step in, he can get a good time here, but
Sned needs to find a lot of time.
Here he is,
Everyone's
coming
staying out.
up the
Oh my goodness me!
what's happened?
Junuvane on a flying lap, and Twins has appeared out right in front of Revengezilla on their cooldown lap, and is no other word for it, completely obstructed Junuvane, who was on for a respectable lap, and has took them both out the session.
A 5-second penalty as well for Twins by the looks of it.
Indeed, a 5-place grid penalty for Twins, who will end this session in 16th. An apology, and I do apologise for my sudden sharpness in voice there, but that must have been scary for Junuvane.
Oh, I didn't see what happened.
So
I was
he
watching
ends-
Snedden.
I think I just caught that on the broadcast, as Twins has
He's
has
just
actually been further has just been further compacted for parking it in in an unsafe position.
well, he has no fuel in the car,
As-
so I don't think he could get it going. So once the crash
Indeed
happened,
not.
it was just there, you stuck.
But are very, very dangerous, and I'm pretty sure Junuvane will be feeling a very, very what's the word I'm looking for here? Angry about
Yeah.
current circumstances.
Well, he's still P4 for the feature, so he can't be too
Indeed,
disheartened.
indeed, it could have been far worse for Junuvane, but it could have been so much better at the same time. Revengezilla
Yeah, I don't know what I'm
rolling
watching
up
here.
to the lap, ended the lap with a 4
There we go.
minutes 8.
That's best
So
lap time I've ever
not-
seen.
Not quite able to challenge Ethan, who's yet to set a lap time and is still sitting on the grid for some reason.
Tidjum is our last
And-
one.
Indeed, Tidjum out of fuel, coasting up to the line.
I think we're going to have a good race on our hands here now. There we go.
As there we go, the session has timed out, and it means Crostedy has, I would say rather unexpectedly, has snatched pole away from Brookieman.
Well, he was joint second in the pole for pole with Brookieman, so we can see obviously some people understand who had the pace here, and they were going to be similar, but that is very close. But their difference between third place is unbelievable.
Indeed, 7/10 of a second between Crostedy and Brookieman, down to Collateral adds alone, and even at that, it's another 4/10 back to Junuvane. But I think that's a bit, how would I say this? A bit no.
Don't look at me, I failed English the first time, I had to pass it again, so I'm not going to help you here. You've got the wrong person here to help you say a word.
Not representative. There we go. That's what I
there we
was
go.
looking for.
Still had no idea what you wanted to
And
say.
yes, indeed. As we've not got much time here between our sprint race.
Oh, someone's
and
ready up early.
Indeed. And Twins in our Twitch chat is saying, rate my crash out of 10. I shall rate you a Maldonado out of 10, Twins. But I don't think it should be me who should be asking for that rather scary crash, it must be said. Twins is starting at the back of the grid after being disqualified, but I think they would have been at the back anyway after the crash with Junivane. And in our Twitch chat, they casually reply with the word cheers. So that is our pre-race interview with Twins out of the way, and now for our formation lap. I'd like to run us through the grid really quick, please, Maggie.
Yeah, I'll go ahead here. We've got all drivers on soft bar 1 with Hirsch. But starting from the back in 18th, we've got Twins. Ahead of him, Ethan. In 16th, David Lowface. In 15th, on the medium tyres, is Hirsch. So he'll be looking to be having a pace at the end of this sprint. From here on out, it's all softs. In 14th of midfield Maestro, 13th Snedden, 12th Rise, 11th FPR Locker, who again, as we said before, great race last time out in the sprint and feature in Austria, so we're looking to continue that form on to today. In P10, Cosgree, we will start our feature race on pole with Brookman P9, Clatteraz 8, Jimmy Vane P7, Silverside Boy P6, Lewis Shorkey P5, Revenge Zilla P4, Willy Bum P3, and our front row today in P2 we've got TGM, and P1 we have Nigel Piggle.
Thank you very much for that, Max.
Oh, I've just seen Hirsch in the chat, pressed the wrong strategy.
Yes. Indeed, looking at Hirsch in our chat.
Don't be too disheartened, you can have pace at the end. Hopefully.
However, I suppose starting down in P15 it would be worth the risk, but to get up to top 8 to try and get points here in a sprint, so that's another thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Instead of the top 10 getting points, which is usually what happens, as David Lowface and Ethan have been disqualified from the formation lap. Didn't quite catch that there on the broadcast.
I don't know. There's nothing on director.
Indeed, very, very strange. And anyway, going back to what I was saying about Hirsch's strategy, and also for I was going to say about Hirsch's strategy, but for our sprint race, it's only the top 8 that will get points here in Formula 2. And Hirsch also saying that they selected the wrong strategy. They will come good towards the end of the race, I feel, as tyre wear could be an issue here around Saudi Arabia. But Nigel Piddle lining up at the front of the grid, taking their first pole and only pole so far in our Formula 2 Championship. As the rest of the field now wins at the back of the grid.
You can see how well Hirsch warmed up his tyres as well.
Indeed, it will be important for Hirsch to have those tyres warmed up. It's 5 red lights here in Jeddah and our sprint race is underway. Nigel Piddle and TGM as one off the line. A little bit of more chaos further back. TGM looking to go up the inside of Nigel Piddle, nothing doing there. And a little bit of a mosh pit at turn 1, but it's Nigel Piddle, TGM and Revengezilla, the 1, 2, 3 up top. Silverside Boy in 4th, Willybum in 5th, Lewis Yorkie in 6th, Crossray making a move on collateral ads down in 7th, making it stick. Collateral ads in 8th, Brookman in 9th, and Junuvane a terrible start down in 10th as we've got contact further back, and Rise and David Lowface have came together. Twins fighting away there with Hirsch, going a bit offline there, I think Twins, making the move stick, but Nigel Piddle at the end of Sector 1 has a 3/10 gap back to TGM, Revengezilla and Silverside Boy. And we see there Lewis Yorkie down the inside of Willybum, and Lewis Yorkie's in the wall! Lewis Yorkie taking too tight of a line into the wall, and everyone behind's got to be careful to avoid that. Thankfully they do, because that could have been a disaster.
We do have ghosted on, I believe, as it is a tight circuit.
Up the ghosting and up the development team for making that possible. But Nigel Piddle doing what they need to do off the start. Revengezilla right up the back of TGM. Are they making a move into this left and right? Not wide now, but Tidgham going a bit wide around there, now into this long banking, this long flowing left-hander. Zilla pulling to the outside of Tidgham, not quite making it stick. Now too wide here, up to the final corner. Revenge Zilla almost pushing TGM around the final corner, but at the end of lap 1, it's Nigel Piddle who will lead the way with a 1 second gap back to TGM. Zilla still pushing the back of TGM. We'll go on board here really quickly with Zilla down in towards turn 1 in the inside line, making it stick, but now the outside line for turn 2, but they do get the traction down and Zilla is up into second. They're now selling, chasing down Nigel Piddle.
Yeah, that's somewhat of a clean start for the top 10, as we need to get Senan back in the lobby. Yeah, that was no safety car obviously, but a few collisions, but it's not too bad of a swift start.
As Crossley picks up our first validation of the session, fighting with Locker, who's made 2 places up in the first sector, and Crossley I think's hit problems. They're going very slowly there up to the first hairpin, but Brookeman as well. I was on board with them really quickly. They were having a bit of a fight with Locker, ran a bit deep into turn 6, I believe that was, and went off really offline and Locker up 7th, Brookeman currently in 8th, as TGM as well currently in 3rd. Still fighting off Silverside Boy, and Collateral Ads catching right up to the back of them too. He's picked up his first penalty of the session, going very defensive early, jumping board here with Silverside Boy, trying to get the move done and chase after Zilla. Not quite getting it done into the hairpin. Hoping to get the traction down and get the jump on TGM, who's defending very aggressively, but fairly it must be said. Locker going to the outside for turn 1, hoping to do the opposite of what Zilla did, which was around the outside at turn 1 into the inside at turn 2. I think they make a bit of contact there, but Collateral Ads right behind them, hoping to pick up the scraps. DRS has been enabled on lap 3.
Oh, we're 3 wide, going to section 1 down at P10. Very strong
catching it on the tracker, indeed 3 wide. Oh!
It's going to be eventually.
And that was indeed Junuvane having
Junuvane's lost the wing.
A massive snap. Well saved
lost half of his wing, I believe.
Yeah, very well saved there, yes.
Ruined.
Indeed, Junuvane
not coming off well from there. Taking a harsh penalty as well.
Yeah, unfortunately for Junuvane, who was fighting away there with Ethan and Maestro.
Yeah,
Ethan making a good amount of places up off the start. They're already up into 10th. As
P9 now.
Walker might have went in the wall.
Oh!
And Twins has got a 5.
He can serve back
got
the pit.
A time penalty.
He's gained 1 place off corner cutting, and he is not stopping with his corner track limits. Is he our new Biddle?
I should not laugh at those comments, but Twins currently down in 12th, so they are on a bit of a charge as well, along with Ethan, who is already up into 9th.
Yeah, strong start from here.
A very strong start for Ethan, so
he's taken advantage of a lot of those instances and
check.
Just moving through the pack brilliantly.
And a quick look here at our positions gained so far in the race. We see Ethan has gained 8 places already, and we're just about to start lap 4. Piddle with a 1 second gap back to Revenge Zilla, and TGM jumping board with this battle again. They're 3 wide into turn 1, and Collateral Ads has gotten the move done on both of them. Brilliant there from Collateral Ads.
Oh,
up into the podium. And Junuvane another 5 seconds.
Nowhere near the pit limiter line, but because apparently in my race, if you take the pit entry wrong, you get a 5-second penalty for speed into the pit lane, even though you haven't even crossed the pit limiter line. But that's a harsh one.
Nigel Piddle with a 3-second penalty as well. So this whole fight at the front is completely
Zilla's
changed
now
in complexion. Indeed, Zilla are currently running a net P1 due to Nigel Piddle's penalties, and Silverside Boy, who's going to benefit quite a lot from these other infringements. But going back to the positions gained, as I think Willybum might have had a moment. They've lost 2 places there, to Brookeman and Crossgerry, down in 8th. But Ethan has gained 8 places off the start. Twins,
Oh, he's
albeit
hit
with
the
a
wall.
good amount of penalties, in 12th as
Ethan hit the
We've
wall.
had-
He's got some slight damage on his front right, I believe. And Pickle's out!
Pedal has bent it, they are out! Nigel Pedal, and we've got a safety car here in Jeddah. Nigel Pedal, I think it went straight. They went into the barrier. I think they
Must
might
not
have
have
got
got
on the curb.
traction coming off the exit.
Might have went on the curb, snap oversteer, and there's only one way you are going. Nigel Pedal, sir, and that is out of this race.
We bring out Bert Vilander on his birthday.
Indeed, Burt Mylander getting a lot of attention here on what is their birthday. Driving Monaco and now competing, well, not so much competing, but driving the safety car for our Formula 2 drivers, as Ethan has got a 5-second penalty again for speeding in the pit lane. It all fell apart for Ethan after I
she's
praised
coming
him
in.
so highly.
Surprise there.
I do apologise. Ethan, as Willy Bum is getting held up as well due to Ethan changing their front wing, so that has not worked out well for Willy Bum or Ethan.
Hirsch
As
gonna
you see
set
Hirsch
on that
coming into the pits
softs.
as well.
That'll be good for
Going
him.
for a
Fresh set of softs.
Indeed, it could work out well for Hirsch, but they've got to make some places up, and they've jumped Lewis Yorkie, I think.
Well, he's jumped
So,
Willy Bum,
Hirsch-
Ethan, and Yorkie in the pits.
So, very, very important there for Hirsch. They got by a bit of the traffic as Snedden and Rice exchanging places. I think that they've resolved that, so...
It's been hard on the mediums. Didn't look like he was struggling with mediums, but the traction, I think just everyone else had that traction over him. So it'd be good to see now what he could do with some sort of fresher tyre.
Indeed, so we've got currently on our 5th lap here around Jeddah, so it's going to be a pretty hectic end to this race. Nigel Pedal, who was leading the way, is out after crashing into the wall, so Revengezilla inherits the lead of this race with collateral ads in second. TGM, who has been on the ropes throughout most of this race so far, hanging on to 3rd. Silverside Boy in 4th, Brookieman making up 4 places to 5th, so they've been on a bit of a charge as well. Grocery 6th, Locker 7th, and Midfield Maestro up into 8th, as Ethan is another penalty. Ethan, I am so sorry, I have cursed you so badly for this race.
The cruiser curse. At it again.
The cruiser curse, we shall... well, I wouldn't say at it again, but it's been pretty evident for Ethan. But twins in 9th, but we'll have a check at our penalty counter real quick.
Yeah, these penalties.
8 seconds in penalties.
Yeah.
Snedden and Rice, sort it out. It's still exchanging places under safety car.
Other games sometimes like that, you actually overtake, but then you have to give it back every single time.
Yeah, so thankfully they will eventually sort this out between... Well, they're going to have to one way or another. It's not exactly going to be a case of your turn, my turn.
Well, I'll be very interested to see how long the safety car's out for, because the longer it's out, the more time these people on penalties will be losing. Especially like Tidgham in 3rd and Croskery in 6th. These points will be important for their battles in the constructors and drivers. And these penalties really push them down that order.
Yes, and also it will hurt Hirsch as well, who is on those fresh softs come after getting rid of those mediums. So they will lose out a bit of time to make inroads on those tyres. But thankfully we do have a bit of a rest in what has been a pretty eventful 4 laps of the race, but a standout moment, it must be said. Collateral ads making up... Right, Rice, Snedden, this is your last chance, I mean it. Anyway, but collateral ads going down the inside of TGM and Silverside Boy at turn 1. That was a pretty standout moment in our season, it must be said.
Yeah, it's just one of those, do you risk it? Do you need those points? It's all risk and reward now, especially when you come closer to the end of what is a short season for this F2 season. There's a lot of risk and reward going to be risk and reward moves that will be happening, I believe.
Yes, Revengezilla there backing up the pack a little bit. I thought we might have missed the safety car coming into the pits,
No.
but I think he was trying to let Junuvane catch up, who is a little bit down on the pack. But
Yeah.
we'll have one more lap behind the safety car here as Brookman and Silverside Boy are doing it. Right, so guys, when Rise and Steadin are doing it, it's not funny when you two try it, okay? And I know you can hear me.
Yeah, a lot of these boys do watch the stream and do listen out for whatever happening everywhere else.
Indeed, we are playing two roles here of commentary for our viewers, and
Oh,
we are also
lock and
playing
cross
race
screen going for
director.
it now.
Right, guys, seriously, stop it. But there we go, so we're playing race director and commentator for our viewers and for our drivers as well, so it's nice earning double pay.
I wish it was paid. Oh.
Yeah, we earn 5 pence for every race we do. Or we get paid £1 for how many penalties apply in a race.
Oh, I'll have £1 for every penalty. That'll be balling. Bear in mind, I'll probably be paying a lot of people in my tier 3 races, but I'll get a lot of it back in these races.
Indeed, and
Oh,
right, guys,
what is happening?
I swear
Everyone
they're
is
doing this on
changing position.
purpose now. Right, and
Yeah,
Ethan,
there we go.
oh my goodness me. Right, I mean it, guys, stop it. Because this is gonna go one way for you guys, and it's not gonna go well.
Oh, I don't
I
think
noticed
Ads
it-
is
and
too
I
annoyed by
noticed-
it because T-Jum's got
and I-
3 seconds. But they've
I noticed
secured
as well,
this
Lewis
position
Yorkie
change.
and Ethan are trying it now as
Oh,
well.
they all go for it. I don't think
Safety
yellow
car
flags matter
should-
today.
No, they never do usually. But safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap, and I get the feeling that TGM will give
Yeah.
that place back
Yeah, we
to
go.
Collateral Ads.
That's not happening. We hope it happens on
Well,
the
it
race
should.
restart.
And
Oh, no, here we go.
I
Nope.
think they will at the start of the restart. So when Zilla leads them away, we will have 3 laps
Back them up.
as we've got a bit of a very, very big car park behind. And Hirsch pays the price for it. See, I told you someone's going to pay the price.
It's gonna happen.
Hirsch, and unfortunately for Hirsch, on those fresh softs, they do have a 5-second penalty.
The camera's
So-
not catching up. There we go. Now they're going to come around the
Indeed,
corner.
I think any chance for Hirsch is gone, but the chance for Revengezilla to bolt has not quite happened yet.
Oh, yeah,
He's
he's
backing
gone.
them right
gone.
up, and we are away. Revengezilla backing up the pack quite a bit. Thankfully, it's not like Mugello.
Hasn't really caught them out.
And TGM giving up the place to Collateral Ads, who's trying to make a place up on Zilla, and we're 3 wide further back. Not quite happening. And Frosty spun. Frosty and Silverside Boy have spun disaster for our second place man in the championship, and Locker getting a penalty as well and all that, and some of Revengezilla, not Revengezilla, Silverside Boy losing out as well, and Maestro's lost out too.
I can't
Midfield
keep up
Maestro.
with all of this.
The joys of Saudi Arabia, it's hectic and we absolutely love it for racing but hate it for spectating. Revengezilla and Collateral Ads making up the place again on TGM, and Brookman has got to jump on Locker. He didn't pick that up
We
there,
are
but
gonna
Brookman up
be-
to 4th, right behind TGM.
The battle for the last point will be very interesting between Longface and Yorkie. Everyone else behind them has penalties, so they'll get in the way, but they won't hold that position.
Indeed. And Lewis Yorkie taking the alternate approach of choosing not to wear a crash helmet, I believe. Indeed they are not. So a bit of unfair weight saving there, I think, for Lewis Yorkie.
I don't
Trying
think
to
it's
make
that
the
much
lead by
difference.
David Lawface. It's all about those fine fractions of a second, and Ethan's right up behind Lewis Yorkie as well. They're almost conjoined in going around turn 23 and 24, but Ethan's got a jump in Yorkie around
Someone's
the
got that track
outside.
map.
David Lawface trying to have a slipstream to Lewis Yorkie to keep him behind, and Ethan.
Oh, he's
What a move from Ethan!
found the gap in the middle. That's
What
a great move.
overtake that is from Ethan. They're up into 8th as we've got contact further back. I'm not sure who that was. I think it might have been Junuvane. But Ethan, I said earlier, Collateral
Yeah,
Ads
he's
with a
lost his
standout
wing.
overtake.
Oh.
Collateral Ads with a standout overtake as Ethan's fighting away with Lewis Yorkie for the final point.
Silver's was retired in the pits.
And Lewis Yorkie has got the jump on Ethan, but he's still looking to the inside of him.
Oh!
And they, oh no, they make contact, and David Lawface gets caught up as well. David Lawface getting caught up in the action too, and I think that might spell the end for them. Well, it spells the end for Ethan's push for a point, but Lewis Yorkie will not complain too much, as I've noticed as well. Brookieman and Collateral Ads fighting away. Brookieman is up into second.
Yeah, that's obviously Brookieman is held up with the surge by Zilla and Ads. He's now got himself into that P2 spot. Good points position to finish it.
And good recovery as well for Brookieman, who did start down in 9th. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what happens in the first 9 laps of the race, all but what happens in the final lap of the race. Revenzilla with an 8/10 of a second gap back to second, Collateral Ads in third. Tidgham and Locker with penalties, and Rise catching up to the back of Locker with Snedden almost pushing him along.
Yeah, and these penalties will move around a bit of the top 8. By the looks of it, Tidgham will fall a few places down, which we won't be happy with.
And David Lawface fighting away with Lewis Yorkie for that final point, picked up a penalty somewhere, and that sees the end of their charge as Brookieman and Collateral Ads are fighting away for second place. Brookieman out to the inside of Collateral Ads.
Ethan's retired in
with
pits.
Collateral Ads. Yeah, Ethan pretty much summing up the mood for Ethan's race, but Collateral Ads and Brookieman still going wheel to wheel. Who's going to yield here? None of them are wanting to. But it's Collateral Ads who sees his way through on Brookieman, and that is a Revenzilla to get that gap back to them. But Brookieman will have the run on Collateral Ads up to the first hairpin. Will they make the move? Not on this occasion. They are content to sit back in third as Willie Bum and Twins are picking up more penalties.
So far it looks like Snedden's going to get into P4.
Yeah, Ryan picked up a penalty somewhere as well.
Snedden will get P4, and it looks like Yorkie might scrape P5.
Jump to our leader time chart, and we see Lewis Yorkie is 5.5 seconds down on TGM. They could yet steal 5th place here in this race, as David Lawface. It's all went wrong for them in the closing stages of this race. But Lewis Yorkie, Snedden trying to make a move on Rise, get 6th place on track, and Brookieman and Collateral Ads the final chance between the two of them to sort out differences. But Revenzilla, after the disaster that befalled Nigel Piddle, Revenzilla will take victory in the sprint, and further behind Brookieman just about misses out on second place by 500ths of a second. Collateral Ads takes second, Brookieman takes third, Rise up into 4th, a good showing on their first race. Snedden in 5th, Lewis Yorkie just missing out in P6. And we can now finally soak in what's happened from that sprint race before we go into our feature race. And I don't think I'll have enough time to.
Yeah, there's a lot of points we could talk about there. Great battle in the end from Brookieman and Ads. Ads with a few good overtakes as well. Rise having a strong appearance on his first race. And, well, yeah, Pickle crashing out, bringing out a safety car. That changed the whole dynamic of our space, hasn't it?
Yeah, Nigel Piddle taking an alternate line. Well, I would say taking one for the team. But I believe Nigel Piddle is his own team sometimes. And we'll just wait real quick to get our screenshot. There we go. And now we have a chance to run through our order. It will be Locker who picks up the 8th place in our sprint race and our final points position there. Tidgham takes 7th place after what was a very aggressive defensive drive from TGM. Nigel Piddle in a Twitch chat saying, "Twit the slander, boys." We do apologise, Mr. Piddle. And Nigel Piddle clearing up what happened for them in our feature race, saying they hit the inside wall and they couldn't stop and hit the outside wall. So Unfortunate for Nigel Piddle, who did have that gap back.
It was a
to the
strong
rest of the
start
field.
for
Lewis
him.
Shorty,
Yeah.
they did all they could do at the start. Lewis Shorty in sixth, Sneddon in 5th, Rise 4th, and Brookie Mint in 3rd, Collateral Ads, and I think for the 2nd week in a row, Revengezilla picking up victory in our sprint race.
Yes, he is. Yeah, a strong showing again in the sprint race. He's showing what he can do in this sprint when he gets that chance to be at the front. He holds those drivers off very well, and makes sure no one makes that move on him.
Doing all they had to do, but going back to our sprint race, there was certainly quite a few standout overtakes, none in particular. CRE Ethan, that was a fantastic move.
Oh, it's a lovely move. Just you saw the gap and took it. You know, like you can't fault that. Between the two drivers, there's not a lot of space there. Only just a car's width, and to send it between them both and still have the traction to get around and stay ahead is quite impressive.
Indeed, threading the needle, one would say, and another one would idolise a very famous Ayrton Senna quote. And whatever gap there was for Ethan to make that overtake, he certainly somehow saw it and took it. Ultimately, didn't matter in the end, but that is one of the best things I've seen in racing games in general.
Yeah. No, we do have to applaud him on that overtake. Very, very well done.
Indeed.
But sadly, obviously, couldn't finish off the sprint race for himself.
Certainly one for the gallery or the album for Ethan. But we now wait for our feature race, and I'm going to ask you real quickly here, Rise. Compared to what happened last week in Austria, we do have a dry race, but around Saudi Arabia, how bad was the tyre wear, if you remember?
Did you just call me Rise?
No, I said Madzi.
You definitely said Rise.
I did not say Rise, alright?
Oh, you can ask a Twitch chat about that, but I am
No.
If you want to call me Rise, fair enough, you know?
Madzi. How was the tyre wear in Saudi Arabia?
I've got backup here. Yeah. Okay, yeah. What can I remember? The tyre wear. There's a lot of pressure on your right-hand tyres because the final turn and coming up to the end of sector 1, you've got two large left-handers. So there's a lot of tyre on your. You're going to find a bit more wear on the right-hand side, but I think it really does. It was dependent on your tyre pressure. I didn't find it too bad, but obviously we did the race in the night, so track wouldn't be as warm as it would be for these drivers here. But I feel like you would find you could make your strategy go longer, especially around this track.
Yeah, and of course, Rise not picking sides in this argument, as said in our Twitch chat, saying it was confused why you were asking me that. So thanks for that, pal. You sold me down the river. Anyway, they do reply saying that the tyre wear was awful, mate. So thank you for clearing that up. Also, by the way, while we're here, congratulations for your Singapore win. But once again, for our feature race, I'd like to ask Madzi really quickly to run us through our grid order.
Yeah, I'll try and go quickly. We've got a few more medium runners in this feature race. Our bottom two in Twins and Ethan on the medium tyres, and then 16th and 15th with David Longface and Hirsch on the softs. 14th and 13th are occupied by Midfield Maestro and Sneddon, who are now on the medium tyres. And then again another set of two on the row with Rise and Locker on the softs. Piggle will in P10 on the medium tyres. And then from P9 to P2 we have soft runners in Tijum, Willy Bum, Revengezilla, Lewis Yorkie, Silverside Boy, Jimmy Vane, Collateral Ads and Brookieman, and on pole with the medium compounder tyre is Crosby.
Thank you for that, Madzi. So, just going to touch on tyre selections here. From Nigel Piddle, they're going to certainly look to go long in this race. Also looking at Sneddon and Midfield Maestro, Ethan and Twins looking to take it long into the race as well. But Crosby starting on the mediums they're going to have a pretty tough time holding off Brookieman and the chasing pack behind.
Oh, 100%. Especially around here, with how strong the DRS can be. What, 3 DRS zones, which 2 of them are pretty long. If you're in the right spot, I think like the undercut would be on. Especially for these soft runners, pitting early, and if you got open track or DRS zone, these medium runners, unless they can show real pace and hold off these soft runners and get through the soft runners before they pit, they'll be. I feel like they'll be hit hard by the undercut.
They crossed the race, I think, looking to try and run their own race, and Nigel Piddle looking to finish a race. Sorry for that, Nigel. But they're also. Again, I do apologise, Nigel. But good luck in the race. And going back again, touching what I was saying there, all the medium runners, I think, trying to just run their own race and maybe make gains either through a safety car or through the undercut.
Yeah, well, if they can bring those mediums to life early, they can definitely stay with these soft runners, but I wouldn't know the difference in these F2 cars between the softs and mediums.
It's important not to burn out the mediums, which is what cross race starts on. Brookieman on the softs next to him. Lights are on. A long hold, but we are away for a feature race inside Arabia. Crossery trying to keep Brookieman behind. We'll jump on board really quickly with Brookieman down the inside of Crossery into turn 1. Now for the outside run, turn 2. Crossery just about to fence, but Brookieman still alongside them. And I think Brookieman's got a jump on them. Indeed they have. Brookieman up into the lead, and Nigel Piddle, I have kicked you while you're down. And yes, Nigel Piddle, it's just not happened for them. But Lewis Yorkie with a very, very quick 5-second penalty in our feature race. But Brookieman getting the start they needed, and they are pulling away from Crossteady in second. Collateral Ads in third, Junivane in fourth, Revengezilla in fifth, Lewis Yorkie carrying that penalty and still without a crash helmet in sixth, Tidgham in seventh, Silverside Boy in eighth, Fullybum in ninth, and Locker instead in final way for 10th here. Who's going to emerge from this one in 10th? We'll stick with this one really quickly, and I think it might just be Locker. And Locker and Snedden have banged the wheels, and yeah, I don't think any of them have emerged from that, so we'll just say that Rise has emerged as a late entrant, and they're up into 10th.
Yeah, I saw a very interesting first lap battle. Got from side for Nigel Pickle, just car on the inside of him just clipped his back tyre, and that just what sent him, couldn't keep control of him. That's going to really hurt his strategy now. Looks like his front wing is intact, so he didn't lose much front wing. That must have been a different car, so hopefully he can still make use of the medium tyre strategy and maybe push to get a few overtakes on pits, but we'll have to wait and see, as we have a yellow flag in sector 3. Twins is gone.
Twins, just seen it on our driver tracker, I think might have either spun or might have had contact with somebody. Snedden and Nigel Piddle. And Nigel Piddle stayed out.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have damage. I thought he got damage from it, but it was a different car that must have had damage on his wing. He was quite lucky to not get a lot of damage. But Locker's in for a front wing change, and it's going to the set of mediums.
So looking like Nigel Piddle has somewhat escaped one there, but Brookieman leading up to the first hairpin on this Jeddah street circuit with a 2-second gap back to Crossteady. Collateral Ads in third, Lewis Yorkie in fourth, Revengezilla, who we got past while we were spectating Midfield Maestro, is in fifth, Junivane in sixth, Tidgham in seventh, Silverside Boy in eighth, Fullybum in ninth, and Rise in 10th, from getting a little bit of a DRS train soon behind Lewis Yorkie.
Yeah, this DRS train will mostly probably stay like this for the rest of this race, unless someone makes a big move. But we'll see a lot of overtakes, but I don't think we'll see a lot of major people pulling away. From P5 all the way down to P11, they're all going to have DRS on Zilla. And we got and for 2 weeks in a row we'll have another Zilla train actually.
Well, a train of sorts with Revengezilla in it, as Lewis Yorkie is the main engine to this train, as Rise gets past Fullybum further behind, and they are 3 wide. but this DRS train will be benefiting Ethan
Yorkie's
here,
gone to
as
the
Lewis
pits.
Yorkie has dived into the pits. I think that's to serve their 5 seconds.
I
But
will
midfield
keep
maestro
an
and Ethan is going to benefit a lot from this train as they fight away with Willybum here for 9th. And I think Willybum has just emerged ahead. Yes, they have. Willybum maintains 9th, but Ethan on those medium tyres, staying in this DRS train, that can only benefit them in the long run.
Yeah, this will be important, and obviously when those softs start to wear off, those mediums will come to life, and hopefully with the help of a bit of DRS and some more traction, he can get through these soft runners on the braking zone and off the exits. And he's up right behind Rise right now, and he's done it down the inside. It's a good move, and he is so is midfield Maestro. So maybe those softs
Rise might
have
be
damage.
having a few.
No, he don't have damage.
I think Rise might have a few desync issues as they were right alongside Willybum, who have now dropped back behind midfield Maestro down into 11th. But we've seen Lewis Yorkie there emerge from the pits on the mediums. So something tells me here that softs might not be the ideal race tyre, as Brookieman puts that thought to rest as they have a 3-second gap back to Cross today. And thank you to Toadmasters for this, what must be said is a brilliant helicopter shot of Cross today.
They've got a great helicopter shot of Ethan and midfield Maestro and Rise, with a slight bit of contact between midfield Maestro and Rise. Hopefully it didn't...
Ethan diving down the inside there of Silverside, but I think it either caught them napping or it was a pretty late move there for Ethan, as Silverside Boy's in the pits as well.
I think it looks like those softs are... Some of those soft runners are struggling.
I think Silverside Boy might have some front wing damage after that late move there from Ethan, who's up into 8th, still chasing after a teammate Willybum in 7th.
He isn't getting a front wing change. No, he is.
I just caught that there when he entered the pits, that it was the front left end plate that had gone, and Tidgeon with a 3-second penalty as well. So another problem for these drivers. Higgle picks up 1-2.
And now Ethan's up the back of Willybum. Will he do the exact same move in the exact same spot? And he has gone down the inside at the end of Sector 1. For 2 laps in a row he's made that move, and he's really making those medium tyres pay off.
A man on a mission here is Ethan. Missed out most of the qualifying to start from the back for both of our races. And for the second race running... I have almost jinxed him. Right, from now on I'm not going to talk about Ethan. So...
I think I still might have to. I cannot take my eyes off this battle between Willybum and Ethan.
I can't, because I've got the helicopter camera, so I'm going to keep focused here on Willybum, as Ethan around the outside just about makes it work.
And
I don't know if he got any damage.
Oh.
And yes, and do get the purchase of the DRS. Junivane right behind Revengezilla. Both of these drivers on the softs, but Junivane is carrying that penalty.
Up to this battle now.
And they're both diving into the pits. Is Tidgeon into the pit? Yes, he is. Willybum elects to stay out. So only doing 3 laps there out of the softs, and Cross today has maintained that 3-second gap back to Brookieman, who still leads the way. But I think now the medium tyre is starting to come into its own.
We've got to credit Ethan here. He's made 13 positions on this feature race with those medium tyres, so he is really putting those medium tyres to use.
Absolutely, on a charge here is Ethan. That's the last I'm going to talk about him before I do anything bad. Collateral Ads though hasn't the only driver that's not made up a place yet in this feature race. As we are now seeing Junivane leaving the pits, Tidgeon leaving the pits,
and Snedden's retired in the pits by the looks of it.
I think, yeah, Snedden has retired in the pit lane, so not good for Snedden.
Yeah, no, I've been watching the interval times between Ads and Cosgrave a bit, and it's weird because some laps Ads is on the brink of getting that DRS zone, but then in other laps he drops back 4 tenths, and I don't know whether that's just a soft tyre starting to lose underneath him, or if that's just a case of entry and exit, different, just different ways, different lines he's taken through the laps. But he would be looking to hopefully get within that DRS soon.
Brookieman not pitting once again. Surely those soft compound tyres must be screaming at him. Lateral As doesn't pit either. But it's the Brookieman and CrossFit gap at the top, 3.4 seconds, and a further 10 seconds gap back to the Ethan train. And Willybum finally into the pits.
Willybum, yes. Sorry. I'm looking at the wrong drivers.
And Rise further backing up their point of tyre wear being awful. They're in the pits as well.
Well, the gap between Brookieman and Crossbury hasn't changed much since it's gone up to this 3.5 seconds area, so he must be feeling alright on those soft tyres just to keep him going. And if he can take them to the same length as the mediums, that'll be quite a feat. But then again, Crossbury will then have the tyre advantage later on in the race, and Brookieman will have to fire up those mediums very quickly.
Jumping on board here with Junuvane, seeing if they've made up any places in the pit stops, and I think they have. Yeah, Willybum just leaving the pits there, having a bit of a collision there with Locker. Locker yielding the place. Oh no, it's Silverside Boy, excuse me. Silverside Boy yielding the place to Willybum, but Rise jumping that big cluster there of TGM and Junuvane. So Rise, after making the pit stop, is 12th. Lewis Shorkin 11th, and Revengezilla, after making a pit stop, I think on lap 4, is up into 10th.
Oh, yellow flag. Yeah, was it lap 4 or was it the last lap? Because he's got 0 lap hit tyre age for me.
Go back to our tyre graphic real quick. And yeah, it's showing 0 laps here.
Crossbury's gone into the pits.
Crossbury on the medium tyre. That might have to be front wind damage for Crossbury.
No change.
No.
This is a strategy call.
Very interesting strategy call.
A 10-second gap between him and Ethan, so
Harsh and Nigel Pridle in the pits as well. Nigel Pridle burning the medium tyres that he did spin on for lap 1.
Must be looking for that undercut. If he can get DRS over Brookieman and on the fresh set of softs, he'd probably be looking to hopefully get the undercut on.
Crossbury emerging just ahead of Twins there, who's yet to make their pit stop in 6th place. But that's the only thing I can really think of here for Crossbury to try and get past Brookieman, but Brookieman did have a 4-second gap back to them.
Yeah.
So
they were staying around that 3.5 for the last few laps now, and there is retirement from Willybum in the pits. He's called this day early.
Willybum not having the best of luck there since their first pit stop, and the following lap they have retired as Hirsch gets a 3-second penalty, down in 14th place as Hirsch. We're seeing the gap that Crossbury is making up to David Lawface in front, and it's coming down pretty consistently. David Lawface, of course, in 5th, yet to make their pit stop, as Nigel Pridle another 3 seconds, kind of summing up this feature race so far for Mr. Pridle.
Yeah. Obviously, the crash in the sprint race, it might have just hurt his confidence a little bit, but so we can't say for the man what's happening right now. But Brookieman, but we've got to say, well, Brookieman and Az are still out on those softs, as well as Lowface, so they must be feeling those softs are okay. But obviously, with the feature race, you have to have that pit stop. So I'm wondering when they're going to pit and when they're going to whack those mediums on.
But Midfield Maestro into the pits, and David Lawface has had enough of those softs, so that promotes Crossbury up to 4th. Twins has yet to make their pit stop, they're up in 5th, and Midfield Maestro just about gets ahead of David Lawface, but David Lawface hasn't yet to make their pit box yet, as Twins has another 3-second penalty. Crossbury though 14 seconds behind Ethan, who's found the way into the podium places so far.
Yeah, well, what's he now? He's made up a lot, 14 positions. So he is still making a stride in this race, but I wonder now if it's time for him to get on those softs early, or make a decision to stay out as long as he can.
David Lawface emerging from the pits down in 16th behind Nigel Pridle, who's tucked up behind Locker. Yorkie with another 3-second penalty, as Brookieman, I'm surprised he's went this long on the softs, considering that Crossbury pitted at the end of lap 6 for off of his mediums on 2 softs.
Yeah, he could have reacted to that pit, and he's going in now, so he's reacting now. He's got a 13 gap second to cross crease, so let's see what happens here. What will Ads do? Will he stay in? He stays. Collateral Ads will stay out on another lap.
Collateral Ads inheriting the lead of this race, and Ethan, I get the feeling, will pit as well.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Ethan in the pits, and a storming job for Ethan to get up into the podium and finally making their first pit stop of the race. But we're gonna check out here. Is Brookieman? No, yeah, I think rather comfortably in the end. Brookieman is gonna emerge ahead of Crossedy.
Oh.
So the tactics for Crossedy hasn't quite worked out.
And the gap stays the same. So the valiant
And if
effort,
anything, the gap
you'll have
is,
a bit more. You'll have a stronger tyre advantage, but
indeed, well, Brookieman will have to warm their tyres up into a decent enough working condition. But Crossedy tried the undercut, it just didn't quite work out on this occasion. But they do still stay in the podium. Twins though is in 4th.
Ethan into 6th now. Obviously with the fresh soft and with the pace he's shown on those mediums, it'll be very interesting to see what he can pull out with those. And I think Piggle is crashed in sector 3.
Yes, Nigel Piggle has DNF'd at the final corner. Not too sure what happened there for Piggle, as we've only just picked up on it. We'll jump on collateral.
I think he's done that on his own. We'd love to see what he says in the chat, if he's still in our chat.
We shall have a check here from Collateral Ads' view, and there's his car there. I think,
great spot.
Indeed, I think Piggle might have went a bit wide out of the final corner and has hit the wall, completely destroyed the right side of his car.
Yeah, no safety car obviously, so we will be staying like this. Collateral Ads with a 17-second gap to Brookieman, but obviously he will have to pit, won't he?
Yes, Collateral Ads will have to make their pit stop, as Crossedy's got a gap back down to Brookieman at 3.5 seconds, as Nigel Piggle. As Nigel Piggle, as also Crossedy with the fastest lap of the race. Nigel Piggle saying in our chat that he did understeer into the wall, so a night to forget for Nigel Piggle.
Definitely.
But hopefully he does bounce back stronger around Baku.
Yeah, well, from what he said in the chat, it looks like he might not be there for Baku, but we'll have to find out.
The time will tell. A Silverside boy fighting away with Tijum down in 11th and 12th place. Tijum on the fresher mediums.
Twins with even though Twins got a 6-second penalty, Zilla has closed down that gap to within DRS. He'll probably be looking to make that move on track.
Yeah, Revenge Zilla. Hopefully, well, Twins still has to make their pit stop, I believe. Brookieman got a gap back to Collateral Ads down to 16 and a half seconds, as Junuvane making a move further back on Rise.
Brookieman is
a
left
bit of an
the
oversteer
session.
moment. Indeed he has. Brookieman is roasted on my screen, and that, as Collateral Ads gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Hopefully get Brookieman back as soon as we can, because this could spell disaster for their race, as Crossedy is gaining all the time on
Do have him on my friends list. Oh.
Brookieman's Rose car does inherit the lead of the race. Crossedy in second, Collateral Ads just about to leave the pit lane now, and I think a rather comfortable 3rd place.
Yeah.
And yes, Collateral Ads is carrying the 5 seconds in penalties though, but Revenge Zilla
He's made the move
is
on
actually
Twins.
only 6
5
seconds down on Collateral Ads. But Crossedy gaining all the time on Brookieman's Rose car, nothing that Brookieman can do.
Half send him
Crossedy takes the lead
another.
of the race. Disaster for Brookieman, who had this race well under control, but in the end, everything is possible in Formula 2, and unfortunately for Brookieman,
Wi-Fi has ruined him.
good old internet connection. But they are still currently in P2. Hopefully they have joined back up ASAP.
And we have lost our
That's
times. Oh.
Yes, we have lost our interval
Oh.
as Rise has
had a crash. Oh,
has had a bit of an incident and a safety
outside.
car.
Oh.
A late
It could
safety
bring
car
out
in
a-
this
oh.
race.
This is going to hurt a few of these drivers. I thought they would have brought out for the Nigel Piggle incident, but clearly they want to do it on the last few laps.
But this has... I'm not sure who this has played into their hands too. Maybe Twins actually, who has yet to make their pit stop after starting from the back of the grid.
Yes,
Ethan
but
on
he
the
does
fresh softs
carry
as
a
well.
6 seconds penalty. So he does
I think
get
he
a
might-
happy pit stop, but
I wonder if he'll serve any of that penalty in
I
his pit box,
believe
but I'm
it will
not
be
too sure.
It will be two 3-second penalties, so he won't be able to serve any.
Plato adds diving into the pits. Brookieman and
Don't blame
Crosby
that.
do stay out. Revenge Zilla staying out as well. Twins does make their
Ethan will go
pits.
past
Ethan
National
up
Ads
into
into P4.
A monumental charge for Ethan has seen them rewarded. Lateral ads is serving their 5 seconds, so that might explain why they've made their pit stop. With those 5 seconds L in the prior lap, as Rise has said their connection is doing their head in, and I think that might explain why
crash.
they're in the wall. But Collateral adds
Down into
gonna emerge from the
P8.
pits here. Behind
That's gonna hurt him.
Silverside Boy. Silverside Boy on 7 lap old medium tyres and carrying penalties. Hirsch as well, and Midfield Maestro carrying penalties as well. But there's been quite a large split here, but Twins, after starting from the back of the grid, is only in 11th. So that pit stop didn't really favour him at all.
No. And obviously Brookieman gets a chance to try and get that place back after his disconnect, so he'll be happy there's been a safety car. Ethan will
Brookieman
be
on-
licking his lips at the opportunity now with 2-lap-old softs after taking those mediums for a long way and really doing well on those mediums. He will be looking at this opportunity and thinking the podium is on.
Yes, those who have just made their pit stop certainly in a better position for this race.
Safety car's
As
already coming in.
Safety car
Oh, we
safety
have to
car
have
is
2 laps of
already
racing.
in this
Okay.
lap. 2 laps, as Maxie has just said there, 2 laps of racing cross today. Brookieman, Revenzilla, Ethan and Midfield Maestro have caught the safety car. Hirsch is going to. Silverside Boy, Collateral Ads and Locker will not.
Well, Gary's
So
on
they'll
AI
be-
and it's just holding Collateral Ads back, and it's hurting Ads
It's
more
hurting.
and more because he wants to be
It's
back
hurting.
up there.
Indeed, everything's just went wrong for Collateral Ads, but Cross today not waiting around. They have bolted it down towards turn 1. Brookieman in their slipstream. Are they going to make the move into turn 1? We're having a check. Brookieman almost pushing Crossray into turn 1, and Revenzilla making a move on Brookieman as well.
Hirsch made
down
the
the
move on
inside.
midfield Maestro into turn 1.
Brookieman defending against Revenzilla, but Ethan right behind Zilla as well in P4, and a massive twitch there for Ethan. Just about keeps it under control, but Crossray, Brookieman and Revenzilla in the top 3. Then we have Hirsch, Midfield Maestro and the Silverside Boy 7 seconds down after that restart, and Collateral Ads, who was running in the podium for a lot of this race, stuck behind him in 8th.
Yeah, I feel like Ads will be human with the 5-second penalty, and obviously serving it was obviously not the wrong idea. Safety car out, but with Gary just holding him up on the safety car, not able to get past it to get within the big pack, is just gonna really hurt his chances now. Obviously no DRS.
Revenzilla
either.
with the 3 seconds.
Oh,
Revenzilla with the 3 seconds in penalties as well. And unfortunately that might see the end of their challenge for a podium, as Ethan is right behind them, wanting to take the move on track. Zilla was a bit wide there out of the chicane, and now to the long sweeping left-hander. Ethan around the outside of Revenzilla, but Brookieman as well, Shadow around the outside of Cross today on the run down to the final hairpin.
just a quick
I'm gonna
few
check here.
race director. Ethan has not had a single track limit warning.
Ethan can afford to basically push it towards the end. Having a look at our Twitch chat as well, at just in Just Merlin, sorry if I pronounced that name wrong, wanting a request for a Discord link. Hopefully we can sort that out for you really quickly, as Brookieman around the outside of Crossedy making the move stick, and they are into the lead of the race, and Locker has been disqualified for tyre infringements. They haven't ran 2 sets in this race.
Oh, Locker.
Oh dear, Locker. That is a disaster.
I saw in turn 1, Ethan tried to make the move on track. I don't think he wants to get this move done via time penalty.
We'll jump on board with Ethan real quick.
Oh,
up
he's
to
done
the
it
hairpin.
again.
This is his signature party piece.
He loves
Ethan
that.
once again up at the hairpin and has took the podium place away from Revengezilla. It would have happened anyway with the penalty, but Ethan didn't want that. He wanted it on track, as Revengezilla has further compounded it for them. But Crossedy still right behind Brookieman. Citadel right down to the line, but Crossedy having to make that earlier pit stop to try and get a jump on Brookieman. And a bit of luck befall them.
Sorry to just interrupt you there, but I've just realised Collateral Ads has not had a penalty. Silverside Boy of 6 seconds, Midford Maestro 9 seconds, Hirsch 6 seconds, and Zilla 6 seconds.
So Collateral Ads might pick up in the end a P4, but around the final corner, Brookieman, who had connection issues right before the safety car, made the move stick on Crossedy and restores their P1 and will take victory despite what the graphic will show. Brookieman, I make that to be our feature race winner and extend their championship lead at the top of the table. Crossedy will come home in second, and Ethan, what a performance.
What a performance.
Third place at the checkered flag.
He made 15 places.
An absolute monumental charge for the guy who missed qualifying to come home in third.
Hirsch P5 from P15. Strong push from him as well.
Indeed, certainly a lot of notable standouts in this race, as our driver of the day, in game at least, is CRE Ethan. And I also completely forgot to mention this as well. We forgot to do a sprint race standout, which is a bit of a red-faced moment. So we shall clear that. We shall clear that up while
P6. It's still good, Hirsch. Don't worry. P5, P6.
We shall sort out our sprint race standout for the end of the stream, hopefully, while we get our podium sitters from our feature race in for an interview, hopefully. As we see here, Crossedy, who will show on the graphic as P1, but it will be Brookieman who does take the victory in our sprint race. No sprint race, sorry, our feature race, excuse me. As we'll get a screenshot for our tyre graphic. We need to get a later screenshot of the results for our race. But I suppose looking at driver of the day for our feature race, I don't think there's an answer really.
There is one man we can definitely give it to. We got have some honourable mentions. Hirsch, strong performance. Midford Maestro, good performance on his first race. But driver of the day for the feature race has to be Ethan. 15 places to get a podium. It's very, very strong, and that is you can't fault that performance. Some great overtaking moves all through the end of sector 1.
Brilliant performance for all of our drivers actually in that race. But I'll need to invite our podium setters, which will be Ethan, Collateral Ads. No, sorry, no, not Collateral Ads. I'm sorry, but I forgot he was running the podium for so long and got held up. It will be Ethan, Brookieman, and Crossedy. Let's get them invited really quickly. Right. And that shall be it. But for our standout of the sprint race, I'm having a check here at our finishing results. It was Revengezilla who did win that race. in P1, Collateral Ads picked up second place, with Brookieman in third. Having a look here as well, that Rise, I think, might get my vote, starting from P12, finishing in fourth. So a good result for Rise, albeit they did, unfortunately, get a DNF in our feature race. But I think for my sprint race standout, I might have to go with Rise.
Yeah, I can see why you'd say that. Also P12 to P4, strong performance in the sprint race, not many mistakes, and obviously, yeah. But I'm struggling to remember that sprint race after that feature race, so I couldn't tell you really.
Brookieman mentioning as well that he did get the victory, but timing charts were glitched. I did pick
catch
up
that.
on that. Yes, and I think Locker as well is confused as to why they've DNF'd, but I think they might have possibly went medium in that race.
Yeah, I don't know
as
what
well.
happened there, because we obviously went into the pits, but I thought I didn't take notice of what tire he changed from, because obviously he started on the mediums. So yeah, very interested to see what happened there.
I have one more check to see if we can invite Ethan into our interview room. Brookieman saying it isn't giving him the option to include audio, unfortunately.
Oh, not another one.
Not another one? Apologies for that bad impersonation. But hopefully get this all sorted out. But we do have one of our finishers in the lobby in Crossdity.
Hopefully his audio is working as well.
I hope so.
Ah, nice.
There we go. At least we do have we should have got one person for interviews, so that's all good. Just making sure I haven't goofed up here and invited the wrong person.
I've sent him an invite as well, but I don't think he is joining.
Right, looks like Ethan has done a Kimi Räikkönen and went straight to his yacht, completely avoided all interviews, and is just relaxing right now in the Monaco harbour. So, fortunately, we won't get an interview with Ethan tonight, but Mardsy, if you'd like to conduct the interview with what will be our second place finisher, Crossdity 1888.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your second place cross screen, and also congratulations for Brookieman and Ethan on their podium finishes. Going into the qualifying, obviously you were setting very strong times, as we could see on our time charts. But how are you feeling? Like, were you feeling like it was good enough, or did you feel like you needed to push more?
To be honest, I never thought I had the pace. I was seeing the kind of time trial times, and I was 4 or 5 tenths off. And I don't know what happened on that last lap at the end of quali, but it was quicker than my time trial, and it just pulled out some sort of a gap. And it was just about enough, thankfully. I think it was like 600ths. But I'd say it's the lap, probably the best lap I've done on an F2 car. Just everything flew perfectly.
Yeah, we can see that. Obviously, getting that pole position for the feature race. Obviously, you just said obviously it was quicker than your time trials. Did you obviously feel it, having that feeling in you? Did you feel like you could take that momentum onto the sprint race?
Yeah, but I thought, you know, I didn't get a good start in the sprint race, but I thought I could get a good battle through and maybe try to grab a podium in that sprint. But just a few little things happened in it, and it just never meant to be.
Yeah. Moving on to the feature race. Talk to me through your strategy. Obviously, you're on the medium tyres, but you decided to call it early on those mediums and get on those softs as quick as you can. What was going through your head at that point?
Yeah, I seen the Delta was about half a second quicker on the softs from the mediums at that kind of pit time. So I knew Brookie was always going to get away from me at the start. I was just trying to keep in that 3 seconds kind of gap. So when I did pit, it was hopefully going to get maybe 2-3 tenths a lap, but just never seemed to be. He was always in around that 3.5 seconds, and I just got very lucky with the disconnection that gave me a chance to win it. But it was a great battle at the end there. Fair play to him. It was a good win.
Yeah, obviously, seeing that safety car and hearing about that disconnect must have obviously had your eyes lit up, thinking it's my chance to get that P1 back. Obviously, did that safety car give you any worries of like if you wanted to pit, or were you like just thinking I'm gonna stick this and battle it out for that P1? Now that the gap's closed.
I was always battling it out for P1. I was never pitting under that safety car. If anything, it screwed me. You know, I was 3.5 seconds behind Brookie before the disconnect, and then I got 2 seconds ahead. And then safety car came out, and just evened out the field again, and gave him a fair chance, I would say.
Yeah, just it giving that chance to not obviously lose that position to a disconnect, which obviously must have hurt you a little bit. Obviously having that little bit of luck, but again, well done on that race, and well done for the qualifying and podium in the feature race.
Thank you.
So that is everything from Cross today, and also a well done for that P2. Hopefully we'll get the results of that race fixed eventually, because that was a little bit messed up at the end. But we have actually been joined by Ethan, I believe. Ethan, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. So I'm trying to ignore him at the same time. Oh,
right, well,
hello.
At least, yes, Ethan, we can hear you, pal. And first off, wow, what a drive!
I had no idea what was going on. First ever F2 race.
Certainly, any expectations that that were gave have been exceeded and beyond. But we did see a few of your overtakes as well, particularly in the sprint race, making 2 places up around the final corner. That must have been some pretty hair-raising stuff.
I just saw a gap and went for it. First. And the lock-up did kind of help, because if my rears hadn't locked up, there was not a single way I was making that corner.
Suppose luck did favour you in the end, and going to our feature race as well, a podium in your first outing, something to be proud of. But we did see as well a few drivers did pit early off of the mediums. Was there an overheating issue with the tyres, or do you think softs were the preferred way to go?
The mediums, I wasn't struggling with anything in particular. Just the brakes, you had to brake a lot earlier than the soft runners. But other than that, if you was able just to avoid locking up, you was able to take them to around lap 10. I decided to go early for lap 9, which kind of benefited me. But yeah, sadly I used my second set of softs in the sprint race because I got wing damage and decided to pit. So I ended up pitting onto 11% worn softs. So my pace could have been a bit better near the end, but it is what it is.
Indeed, but the safety car obviously coming out late at the end of the race, that certainly did play what would be a major role in that podium.
Oh yes, definitely. There was no way I was catching P3 without that safety car. I think I was 11 seconds behind P3, I want to say. But yeah, I had no intention of pitting under that safety car. I knew people would, but that would have just lost me so many positions.
And can't really mention anything else other than a fantastic performance for you, Ethan, in your first race, and certainly I think you would certainly consider future races and beyond.
Oh yeah, like I might ask for a full-time seat now if there's one going.
Well, let's just raise our foot off the gas. We're not racing anymore. But brilliant drive overall this evening for our third place sitter, Ethan.
Third place? I thought it was
And-
second.
No, I think our timing charts glitched at the end because
No.
Brookieman, I don't think, had any penalties in the race. So, unfortunately,
take-
it's a third place for you.
I'll still take a P17 to 3.
Casually flexing, but okay. And we, I'm not sure if we will have Brookieman in for interviews. Brookieman, any chance you can hear me, or? Right. Well, at least we can pick up your audio, Brookieman, and I think by now the championship is as good as yours. You've got, I want to say, a very, very healthy gap back to the chasing pack behind you. Indeed, it's all the more important to tie up the championship for you as soon as possible. But one thing in particular I want to talk about is a disconnect mid-race, because that certainly threw a spanner in the works. The late disconnect in our feature race, it certainly did throw that win up in the air. Did a very, very good performance, and GG's all around to all of our drivers. And Brookieman, obviously, because you're having connection issues, any further comment for the race, or? And I think that will do it for us for this evening. So massive thank you to Manji once again for joining me in the commentary booth.
Thank you for having me. It's another great race to commentate with you and watch.
Indeed, certainly a more hectic race than what we are used to. Thankfully, we are not competing in it. So that, I think, will be it for round 5 of our Formula 2 FPRL Championship series. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. On the 12th of June, we will be taking on the streets of Baku. So, actually, hold on, let me check real quick. Let me check real quickly with our calendar. In fact, no, we are not going to Baku. We end our season in Baku, but we are in fact going to Interlagos in Brazil. So at least it started with a B, I will take half a point for that. So in 2 weeks' time, the 12th of June, we will be going to Interlagos in Brazil. So a massive well done to our top 3 podium sitters in our feature race, and a massive well done once again, must be said, to Revengezilla, another sprint race victory. So that will help out their championship standings quite a bit. And another massive thank you to Madzi, not Rise, Madzi, for joining me on commentary duties. I have been Cruiser1872. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, from all of us here at FPRL, good night.